Hi guys, the Metal Maniac back again, and this is going to be more of a discussion video than anything. In this video, I'm going to be discussing the ongoing debate of vinyls versus CDs, and I'm going to be sharing my thoughts with you guys. But before I do that, I want to take things back a bit and sort of go over a very brief history of the CD of where CDs started and their rise and sort of downfall in recent years. So first off, CDs were introduced to the public in 1982, but they didn't really have that much of a popularity, and people preferred vinyls for a while until around like 1984/5-ish. That's that in 1984 and 1985. That's kind of where CDs really started to get their popularity, and people started preferring CDs over vinyl. But there were still some people that preferred vinyl. Anyway, so CDs became popular around that time, and they grew and grew and grew in popularity, all the way through the 90s to the early 2000s. And then around sometime in the 2010s, somehow, vinyl got popular again. I don't know how, I don't know why. It may have started with, some kind of retro trend. I know at one point there was a retro trend where everything had to be retro again and stuff like that. So maybe that's how vinyl started getting back to the more popular format of music. But yeah, so in recent years, vinyl has become the go-to form of music in terms of physical format. Anyway, so yeah, there's still a lot of people that prefer CD, and then there's again the people who have always or now prefer vinyl. So my thoughts on this. Let me go a little bit in depth with this. So my thoughts. I actually prefer both CD and vinyl, but for very specific reasons. And so first off, it really depends on it's mostly a case by case basis. So you have to look at like each album individually. Um, for example, take Fistful of Metal by Anthrax for example. Uh, both sound great, but the album actually sounds better on CD than it does vinyl. Right? But then you have an album like, hold on, you have an album like, here we go. You have an album like, From Beyond by Massacre, where yes, both sound pretty good on both format, but the vinyl version actually sounds a little bit better than the CD version. And then my third example, where is it? Here we go. My third example, um, Bloody Gore by Death sounds 100% great on both. So both, for this album, both are great. Like there's no like one above the other in terms of the audio quality. Both sound absolutely perfect. So really, it really depends on the album. Like it depends on if an album has been remastered, if an album hasn't been remastered, has the audio been tweaked at all, and it also depends on when the album was made, if it's an original. For example, take the album "Killers" by Iron Maiden, for example. I have the CD right here. There it is. Hold on. I have the CD, the 2015 remaster, and I have the original 1981 release on vinyl. So for an album that came out 1 year before CDs did, um, it's it has a really sort of uh, um, it has a different sort of sound quality in terms of albums that came out around the same time CDs did. So it was more of an even playground in terms of if a CD could sound as good as a vinyl or vice versa, right? So with albums like this that came out before CDs did, the audio quality is gonna be a little bit, a little bit weird to compare to something like this. For example, this came out in the 2010s, right? Now, this came out after the loudness wars of the early 2000s, therefore it doesn't have that super loud problem. But it still sounds slightly different than this. It still sounds slightly bit more compressed, a bit more manufactured sounding. Whereas this is a lot more like this is a vinyl and an early one at that. It doesn't have compression. Like the major difference is the fact that, I mean, with most vinyls anyway, is the fact that because they're not compressed like CDs, it's clearer to hear each individual instrument being played, and it's clearer to hear, the overall sound, whereas CDs, for the most part, they're more of a solid wall of sound, if that makes any sense. So, all in all, it really depends on the album. It's a case-by-case basis. But overall, I prefer both. I don't prefer one over the other because it is a very finicky thing in terms of trying to decide, what is better. But yeah, so overall, because it depends on each individual album, and because it's such a really sort of complicated thing, I do like both. I don't prefer vinyl over CD, and I don't prefer CDs over vinyl. But yeah, that's really about it. I just wanted to make this quick video to get my thoughts out there on this whole debate. But yeah, so that's about it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you all next time.